Wendell. Who, the Winter Road.
Microphones are on, please. Thank you. Okay, we're calling the meeting to order at 4 o'clock. We have a revision to the agenda. We're adding under new business purchase of land by the town, and also associated with that it would be a budget amendment of $365,000, and we will talk about that when we get there. Do I hear a motion to accept the revised agenda?
So move.
Second.
Wendell moved, Widener second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we did have a closed session. Please turn off your cell phones. Mr. Holloman, would you like to do the invocation? Invocation, thank you.
I'm trying to make sure all the microphones are on. Let's bow our heads. Lord, we come before you today, Lord, we ask that you bless everyone here in attendance. Lord, we also ask you to bless one of our employees who's in the hospital, Preston Yates, and hope he has a speedy recovery. We also would like to just thank the Lord for everyone attending today, for the special recognitions that may be made, and Lord, we ask your continued guidance, and we ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. It is my honor and my pleasure to proclaim, in honor of Fred and Margie Fall, for the celebration of their 40-year anniversary of Fred's General Mercantile, and I would like to read that proclamation to you now. Whereas, I'm going to get emotional telling you that right now. Whereas it all started with an overpriced can of tuna, and Fred Fall thought the community deserved better. The store was designed by inventor and Fred's friend, Jack Pentis Jr., who also designed the Land of Oz. Whereas Fred's General Mercantile has employed nearly 600 people during 40 years of business, I'm one of them, and the deli has catered to visitors, residents, and Margie's construction workers, where all can enjoy Margie's original chili recipe to this day. Whereas in December of 1991, Fred's became the official reporting station of the National Weather Service. Whereas Fred's General Mercantile has been open 14,612 consecutive days as of today, February 11th, 2019. And as the saying goes, if we don't have it, you don't need it. Whereas Margie and Fred Fall have contributed to the growth and the prosperity of Beech Mountain, and Fred has served on the First Town Council as well as governed as mayor. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Fred's General Mercantile is a mom and pop establishment that functions as an essential and beloved gathering place for the community of Beech Mountain and has preserved the character of our neighborhood. In keeping with the time-honored tradition of recognizing and honoring its important citizens, the town of Beech Mountain does hereby extend its gratitude to Mr. and Mrs. Fred Fole for services and contributions to this mountain community.
Said that you wanted me to come to this meeting because they were going to discuss something about recreation, and I was hoping it was going to be buying a new snow gun. So, thank y'all so much, and it's because of all of you that we're still here, so thank you kindly.
Can we,
I was thinking,
yeah, can we do it over there with Margie?
yeah.
Yeah. We should just sit down. Sure? Okay.
Thank y'all. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And in honor of that, I'm wearing my Fred shirt. So. Okay, on public comment, we have David Conrad. You have 5 minutes
Ma'am.
to express yourself. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. 1 second. Reset. My apologies. Tim told me and it went right out of my head. Jim Brooks, would you like to come up to the podium, please? Sorry.
You've got 5 minutes too.
You've got 3 minutes.
I'm like Renee, I worked the counter at Fred's too. Of course, during those times, he was really in a sweat because he never knew what was going on while he was gone. And he's probably about like that right now. Y'all all know there was a sign in the deli that refused service to me for a number of years. I think Bernie did a nice job of writing the historical list of trivia that came out in that plaque. And there are lots and lots of stories. And I know you would get mad if I started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my thoughts were similar to Bernie's. It's been fun following the store from the groundbreaking through all these years. We're very lucky that Margie and her family moved here permanently to their vacation home on Pine Creek Road and married Fred. The two of them realized the high cost of food and the limited inventory at the resort area 7-Eleven was really hard on permanent families and wasn't doing our community any good. So they came to my business, Beechwood Realty, with an idea of building a store on a site that we were buying for a billboard. And they promised that if we would let them buy it from the trustee in bankruptcy, that they would let us put our sign there. I had to rent space from Fred. Because the town made it so I couldn't put it. After the town was formed, there were no off-premise signs, and that's what did that in. Over the years, Fred and Margie, through the store, have tried to fulfill as many needs as possible for our community. White lights before Susie and Bernie. Christmas trees along the parkway in Pine Ridge Road. Hiking trails, jobs and mentoring our teenagers that were growing up on the mountain. 43-acre park in Hemlock Hills. Providing the weather with Ray Russell, WECR, and Eric Thomas. Starting and supporting events, Sunday evening concerts, crafts on the green, providing a cook site and ticket sales for the pig roast, chairs for my street dances, and all the rest of our events. Being the mayor, sometimes he thinks he still is. The store has suffered sometimes because of the community activities. Ask Margie about what happens when there was a fire call. She's there at the store all by herself. That doesn't happen anymore. We wish it did, don't we? Fred also was able to promote our community through the free use of the guest quarters and numerous breakfasts that have gotten us into media all over the South. The store has allowed him extra time to serve locally with Mountain Home Music, Blue Ridge Rural Land Trust, the United Way, and ushering at Lee's McRae Theater, and serving on the Town Rec Committee and developing and helping with their projects. The list could go on, and I hope it does. But more than anything, I think the store has and does give our town more of a feeling of community than any of the other resort towns in our area. Thank you very much.
Nicest thing you ever said, then. Thank you very much.
Does he get a reduction in rent?
We'll let him back to the deli.
Hey Fred, we'll get you the video so you can play it over and over.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Conrad. We do allow 5 minutes for public comments, and would you please state your name and address and for the town clerk, please?
David Conrad, 100 Emerald Forest Lane, right here, for 19 years, and I love it, and I'm going to continue with it. So, but I do have a little problem I want to discuss with you. I'm president of the Emerald Mountain Land of Oz Property Owners Association, and I come here today to make you aware of a problem, and we residents of Oz, in fact, I think the whole town, need help from you. I just passed out some photos here. These are photos of the stretch of road from the Winter Road to the loop up the road. It's closed now for the Summer Road. We call it Oz Road. I've also heard it called Pinnacle Ridge. When I built my house and moved here in the fall of 2001, I moved up there to a place of peace and tranquility, and this is not the case anymore. This stretch of road was then used mostly by property owners. Ski Beach for maintenance of their equipment and the Oz Festival once a year, and that was held in October at that time. The top of the mountain was more or less a dead end, and now it's a destination. Things have changed. For now, we have the 5506 bar, downhill biking, the internet and media marketing of Oz, the frequent weekend at Oz tours, the major Oz Festival now, I think in September, with thousands of attendees, and the opening of Emerald Outback. I personally have no problem with these venues. I believe they have every right to have them, and I think overall they help our mountain. But now this stretch of road that you have a picture of and the potholes that I've given you photos of looks not only like third world roads, I think they're dangerous. There are 6 good and decent homeowners with beautiful homes. One new in excess of $1 million home is going up there that do not deserve to have an embarrassing road like this in front of their house. They are built and bought there believing the town would look after them. For a remedy, I've been told, or we've been told, that we could pave the road, but the adjacent property owners have to pay half. I think that's totally unfair. We all do, because a road that was built for maybe hundreds of cars a year now has thousands of cars. Buses, vans, gawkers we call them, and I don't blame them. It's beautiful up there. I used to gawk too. So I'm asking the council to come up and take a look at what these photos portray. We're all citizens of this beautiful town. If you haven't seen it, I think you'll be aghast at the road. I think it's dangerous. I would humbly ask that you put the paving of this road on an agenda and vote on it sometime after you have time to study it. This is a wonderful place, but that road is an eyesore. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Conrad. On our consent agenda, we have adoption of our minutes from our January 8th, 2019 meeting, police vehicle acquisition, for info for a budget amendment, and then the police vehicle budget amendment, and then a budget amendment for a new sanitation vehicle. Do I hear a motion to accept the consent agenda?
So moved.
Wendell moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Carl, second. Any discussion?
I have one question, Robert.
Where are the Fords?
On the sanitation, why we're looking to buy 3 containers?
Yes, it's a cable truck, 30-yard roll-off containers, instead of renting them from the public services.
And we can use them when we build the new,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
So moved. Under new business, we added the purchase of the land by the town. It's the property across from Fred's that is in front of the Recycling Center and Public Works buildings. It's 2.2 acres. And we have discussed to do that. The purchase of the land is $365,000. Do I hear a motion to accept the purchase of the land?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Wendell,
Mayor,
yes.
as part of that, for the property owners, they ask that you find that the value is $395,000, but they are donating $30,000 of that value to the town, and would ask for a donation letter for tax purposes.
Okay, so the motion is amended to be
Yes, ma'am.
$395,000 with a $30,000
Yes.
gift to the town.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And Bill has a motion, Carl has a second. Any discussion?
Just my question that, I'm for purchasing the property, but I think that we need to have an appraisal before we purchase it.
That's fine, we discussed that, and 4 of the council members thought that at this point, the price of the land, the purchase of the land, they're firm on their price, no matter what the appraisal came in at. We weren't willing to let the land go because we're hoping to use it in the future for possibly a fire and police station or something else if that doesn't happen. So the consensus of the council was a 4-to-1 to move forward without the appraisal. Any other discussion? All in favor of the purchase of the land, say aye.
Aye.
All against, say nay. Motion carries. Do I hear a motion for the budget amendment for the $365,000?
So moved. Should that also state 395?
No, it's only
365.
It's not needed because
It
the
was
budget is strictly
365.
365. Okay. So moved.
Wendell moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Barry second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next on our agenda is a selection of an auditor. We have in our packet a list of different people. They're all about the same. Mr. Holloman, do you have any comments regarding that?
Mayor, we've not worked with any of these before except for one. I've worked with Wade Green, WC Green CPA, and I would like to recommend that we consider them for the audit.
W. Green CPA. Anybody?
Now, what's the 3,000 other?
That's in case there's single audit or any kind of special procedures that will be charged. If there's nothing needed in that route, this $12,000 would be the actual fee.
Why is there such a discrepancy between
High and low.
Ms. Randolph and like Martin and Starnes and also Johnson CPA?
We
I mean,
sent
this-
all this list was off of the Department of Revenue website for auditors. Some of these are just larger firms, they demand a little bit higher price. So actually, Wade Green is kind of in the middle at 12. That's just it, it's standard, just like for any other company. Sometimes they're a little bit lower, and the ones on the higher end, usually have a lot more work. Martin Starnes has a lot more work than we would probably get on their radar. They did bid on it, however. So that's basically.
How do these compare to the CPA that we had?
Misty.
I think Misty, last time was right at 11,000. Steve, in here? No, let's see. She was 13.5.
Okay.
They all do municipalities.
Yes.
So do you know folks that, or cities that you're recommending green? Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes.
So do you know other cities that is using her?
I've
or
worked with
using
other
this,
cities using green, yeah. Yes, sir.
and everything went okay and no hiccups? And
Nope.
And we're only locked into the first year.
Only the first year, and then you
Yes.
can get out if something changes, but usually I wouldn't see a need. All these are recognized providers.
Any other discussion? Do I hear a motion to accept W. Green CPA for our new CPA for the first year?
So moved.
second.
Wendell move, Widener second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Next on our agenda is a golf cart committee discussion. We have a big decision to make, and the decision is the topic of letting golf carts go everywhere on the mountain, limiting them to certain areas, not having them at all. There's all kinds of scenarios out there. After what we'd like to do, some of the council, I'm not speaking for everybody, what I would like to do is get citizens' input on that. Put a committee together of all different perspectives, 5 to 7 people, so that it's a fair committee of what they think would be the best solution for Beech Mountain regarding golf carts on the roads. And we are asking people to want to participate in that committee. You would need to fill out a 1 little page application from Tamara, our town clerk, and you would get together, you would meet as much as you needed to meet to discuss the options and what you may come up with to present to council, and we'd like to have that done well before the club opens in mid-May, so possibly the end of April or so. And come to council and tell us what your findings would be. And we're hoping that people will want to do that and participate in that. So that's all I have on that. Anybody want to discuss?
I think council ought to make this decision. I think that, by us not doing it, we're deflecting our responsibilities, and we could mirror similar ordinance from 2 to 3 cities and, be done with it.
I respect why they're saying, but we're not like any of those other 2 or 3 cities. We have a unique town, a unique layout of roads, and I can tell you from my perspective, this was something Brian Barnes and I wanted to push when he chaired the TDA and I served with him. And I was kind of on board with the idea of golf carts everywhere, able to go to the events and the other thing, until it got in my mind. And I've had more issues with the drivers of the carts since then. I mean, our roads are not necessarily conducive to it. There's no safety. You'll see 3, 4 people in one of these carts, clearly underage drivers. I mean, I'm open-minded to it, but I don't believe this is something that the 5 of us could vote on today without hearing from the stakeholders in the town.
I agree.
And we've done that before. When we had the police car, take-home police car, we had a town hall to get information from the citizens on how they felt about that. When we had the discussion on the garbage bins, we had a town hall to get input from the citizens. This is the same thing. We're not going to do a town hall, but having a committee it's a smaller group. But again, if we get we don't want single-minded people on there. We want all different points of view and see what comes out of that. Honestly, if we had to vote on it now, I would be a no, because I think it's a safety issue. I've done some research on it. I mean, there's 18,000, in one article I read, 18,000 ER visits from golf cart accidents on flat land. I can't even imagine what it would be here. But as I've done in the past, for me personally, is I listen to what people have to say, and I will change my mind. I did that on the leash law. I mean, there's things that I thought, yep, I'm a solid no or a solid yes on this, and then I hear what people have to say and I change my mind. If we were to vote on this today, I would be a no. I would like to hear what people have to say, who are going to be riding on these roads and driving on these roads and taking their golf carts on these roads. So I think the best decision we can make is to hear from you and to let us know what you're thinking and not just go by what we're thinking. I think it's a topic that comes up every few years with different councils. I remember sitting in the council meetings and the topic would come up and council would say, no golf carts on the road. It came up my first year on council, golf carts on the road. No golf carts on the road. So it's a topic that keeps coming up, and I think that this is the best way to address it and make an informed decision. Anybody else?
Also, we did a comprehensive plan. Everybody heard about everybody sent in their opinions on a question of survey. Now, one of the questions was Beachbound extended the use of golf carts on most town maintained roads and undertook the effort to improve feasibility, safety of golf carts, such as signage, lower speeds. Would you consider using a golf cart for your local travel? 52% of the 558 people responded said no. 31% said yes. So, and out of the 558, only 2 people didn't answer the question. So to give you an idea, the majority of the people that responded to this are not in favor of golf carts. So, as far as I can see, and we've got a lot of emails from different citizens that have sent us videos of golf carts being turned over on curved roads.
On flatlands.
And then kids getting hurt. As far as I'm concerned, I'm willing to give the expand as far as letting the golf carts go to the tennis courts or the pool or the racquetball area. I don't have a problem with that. But beyond that, I'm not in favor of it. So,
I don't think you ought to, I mean, if the club members can have a golf cart, then I think residents ought to be able to have a golf cart. And has there been an accident on Beach Mountain?
well,
If there hasn't been, to me, it's been by the grace of God. The other thing is that Blowing Rock started letting their golf carts go everywhere. They started with 40 golf carts, and now they're well over 100. And all I can envision is 100 golf carts on our roads. I still think that having a committee is the best way to get information on this from the people who would be affected by it also, instead of us sitting up here making a decision for that. I just think the more information you can get from your citizens, the better off you are. And I mean, I've done a good number of research. People have died on golf carts that don't have seat belts, where they've fallen out, or golf carts have fallen on them, and I just keep thinking about our roads. But anyway, I think we're going to move forward with the committee, and I would appreciate anybody who might be interested, please see Tamara and please be part of this committee. It's an important topic. It may be very passionate to you in that you would like to express yourself, and that would be the best way to do it. And we hope that you will participate or tell your friends to participate and that we can get, up to 7 people that will take it seriously and present it to the council.
And it's got a short time frame.
So it means anyone in here have a golf cart? Is there anyone in here that has a golf cart?
Somebody's already applied, and there's another one. And just because you don't have a golf cart doesn't mean that you can't, I think that just because you don't have a golf cart doesn't mean you don't want golf carts. And maybe you don't have a golf cart because right now you can't take your golf carts on the road. But you would like to do that and have one. So, I don't think that really means anything. There's people who belong to the club on this mountain that are on this mountain full-time or come fairly often enough where they can participate, and maybe, they'll have an opinion about, I would like to get a golf cart and I would like to take it on the roads. I don't think that you're, getting a one-sided view on it. I think that there's plenty of opinions within the citizens of Beech Mountain that you will be able to get a varied view on it.
Well, I'd like to echo that you don't need to own a golf cart. We're all going to be impacted.
Right.
You're all citizens, so we need those viewpoints on it as well.
The important thing to remember is, it's been mentioned several times, but I want to emphasize it, we're talking about town roads. That doesn't mean Beech Mountain Parkway to the ski resort. So keep that in mind. It wouldn't be driving your golf cart to Fred's, sorry Fred, to buy something, but that would not take place because you'd be on a state road. It has to be on the town roads that we're talking about.
Well, and it also, I guess, has to be enforced by
Of
PD.
course.
So, currently, if someone from Florida has a Florida tag on their golf cart, that is still lawful, correct? Tim?
No, sir.
Chief Barnett?
If Chief Barnett's out there, I would say no, sir, unless he wants to answer, because
If they have headlights, windshield, taillights,
If they can
horn,
be tagged in
and they're
North
tagged?
Carolina.
If they meet the requirements for statute of North Carolina, and they get permission from them, they have to be in a 25 mile per hour
Okay, thank you.
Next time, get closer to the mic.
Chief, next time you need to come to this mic, well, you're okay with that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
He said if it was properly tagged, yes.
And that's if you have seat belts, headlights, mirrors.
Windshield
side mirrors,
wipers.
windshield wipers, backlights. If somebody wants to go if it's that important to them and they want to do that, they're obviously more than welcome to do that, and they can take it anywhere they want, and this council doesn't need to vote on that. But a lot of people don't want to do that because it's expensive. So we're talking about not having a licensed vehicle at
I
this
just
point.
make one more comment.
If they're licensed in another state to be on their town or state or town roads in that state, then we have to recognize it here in North Carolina.
Because we do license golf carts.
Yes.
Right. Okay. That makes sense to me. Anything else, council? Okay, we're going to move on. As you know, the town of Beech Mountain is a Tree City, USA, which means we love our trees and we want to protect them. And so every year we have to do a proclamation for Tree City, USA. So here we go. The town of Beech Mountain recognizes that trees are a precious natural resource that improve the appearance of our community, increase the value of commercial and residential property, moderate air temperature, reduce energy costs, soil erosion, and storm runoff, and produce life-giving oxygen. In 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. This special day, known as Arbor Day, is now observed throughout the nation and the world. The town has created a tree committee with the goal of conserving, protecting, maintaining, and enhancing trees in town spaces. On May 31st, 2019, the town of Beech Mountain will celebrate Arbor Day by planting a tree on town property, by providing educational materials regarding the importance of a healthy forest, and by publicly presenting the town's Tree City USA Award. I, Mayor Renee Castiglione of the town of Beech Mountain, North Carolina, officially proclaim May 31st, 2019 as Arbor Day in the town of Beech Mountain, and I urge all citizens to join us to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. Further, I urge all citizens to plant and care for trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Proclaim this day the 11th day of February 2019. And by the way, we will have food at that Arbor Day celebration, so think about that. It's really good.
Tree burgers.
And music, well, maybe music, we'll have to see.
Renee,
Yes, sir.
it's all wonderful, and I'm for it 100%. And I actually have about a dozen Colorado blue spruce that are in my Christmas tree patch that are of considerable size, probably 8 feet or so. And I'd like to donate those along with about 6 or 7 Caneen Valley firs to the town. But it means that the town's got to have to help me dig them up and move them.
You mean you won't dig them up yourself?
Well, I'd like to,
Okay.
but Margie said she didn't feel like helping me, but I'm offering those free of charge, and I think it would make, considerable, because both of those are trees that are pretty hardy and non-susceptible to woolly aphids and a few other things, so.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
Fred. Thank you so much. And we will take you up on that. Okay? We have a public hearing for the Pond Creek Watershed Amendment. Do I hear a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Wendell
Second.
moves, Widener second. The purpose of the amendment adds language by adding Pond Creek Water Supply Shed, WS2 critical area. The current code is inconsistent with the state minimum requirements. The proposed language would provide consistency with the state requirements for water supply watershed critical areas, and the proposed language will allow the town to manage development permits within the watershed locally, as is done for the Buckeye Creek Water Supply watershed. And we've done this with different areas of our watershed. Does anybody like to speak during the public comment? Public hearing, whatever. Okay, thank you. Do I hear a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second? Barry, second. All in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Say aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Do I hear a motion to accept the amendment to the Pond Creek watershed?
So moved.
Wendell moved. Do I hear Barry second? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We have the SRP State Sewer Loan. We received this in September, and it was to the amount of $2,000.
No, add a few zeros.
What?
$2 million. $2 million.
Sorry, my mistake.
We'll take a couple of sewers and that.
Yeah, I was thinking of the check that we got for $2,000 for the water, sorry. Silly me, sorry. Watch my face get red. So do I hear a motion to accept the loan
So moved.
for $2 million?
$2 million.
Thank
At
you,
a good
Wendell.
rate.
Carl seconds. Any discussion? All in favor of the $2 million sewer loan, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. You'd be crazy. Motion passed. We have a sign ordinance that we will have a public hearing on. Do I hear a motion to open the public hearing for the sign ordinance amendments?
So moved. Oh,
Barry
second.
moved, Wendell second. All in favor of opening the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is open. Would anybody like to speak regarding the revisions to the sign ordinance?
What revisions are you anticipating making?
There's in the package, frankly, there's not a lot of them.
And Mayor, just to clarify, there's two attachments. The first one is the final planning board recommendation, and the second one was the recommendation from the sign committee. So there's a little bit different. The planning board just clarified a couple of things when they went back to the planning board.
The difference is, Frank, is that people can be dressed in costumes, but they can't carry any signs.
and 6 times a year.
or any kind of streamers or any kind of things like that.
No sign twirlers.
And it's only allowed 4 times a year, and it's for 2 days only. That's,
This is,
5 days.
this has nothing to do with, I call it a legal planted sign where like
No.
Tom Holland Realty.
No.
No.
This is for basically the promotional signs for businesses.
And as far as definitions, there was nothing for feather sign.
Right.
Is this like open house and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, those are already in there, so it doesn't affect the open
Mayor,
house.
you want me to read them real quick? Just, or, no?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
Yes.
we're not changing, we just changed 2 or 3 things.
I go through the changes that we made, just so people know what they are.
Would Renee's sweater be considered a sign?
Yeah, yes.
Excuse me. No, we're talking about, if, Tim, go ahead and just read what the changes are.
Thank you, Mayor. The first change is basically holiday decorations has been added. The decorations normally associated with holiday season. Holiday decorations will also include human or facsimile people in costumes normally associated with holiday season, just to allow Santa to still come to town. Also, feathered or feathered flags. A flag-type banner usually designed with a pole sleeve or pocket that is generally mounted in the ground is now specifically allowed. Human sign refers to costumes, flags, or other apparel or accessories worn, held, waved, or carried by individuals for the purpose of attracting attention to a site, location, or event. I'm not naming the section numbers, I'm just reading the changes out. Sign spinner now, a section has been added for a spinner or sign twirler. This is an individual or mechanism holding an advertising or similar promotional sign and using some form of action or movement, including but not limited to holding, rotating, spinning, twirling, or walking to attract attention from the general public.
So you'll know that was added to the prohibited signs category.
Human signs, as defined in section 154.27, shall not be displayed for more than 5 days, consecutive days, and on more than 6 separate occasions per calendar year on a single property. No more than 2 human signs may be displayed at a time on a single property. A sign permit from the town of Beech Mountain shall be required for this type of signage. And that is it.
That's it. Does that explain it? Basically, we're trying to allow people to promote their businesses, but not do whatever the heck they want, where it doesn't fit into what Beech Mountain is.
I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the famous brick oven and the county meeting in Fred's. I think it's confusing, but I think I understand the intent of it, and the intent of it is not to get crazy on the mountain or whatever.
We don't want to turn into, Myrtle Beach where you got hackers everywhere calling you into businesses and things like that. Okay?
As long as it's legal.
It is. Okay. Close the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Barry moved to close the public hearing, and Wendell second. All in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye. Take a vote on the revisions to the sign ordinance. Do I hear a motion to accept the revisions?
So moved.
Wendell moved. Do I hear a second? Barry's.
Mayor, to clarify, would that be the planning board's recommendation?
Yes,
Oh, nice.
thank you.
Thank you.
Amended motion to accept the planning board's recommendations. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Mr. Holloman?
Mayor, I don't have any other reports at this time. We will be having the budget schedule, budget meetings coming up in the next few months, so that is on our website if anybody wants to go and check that out. One thing I didn't mention in the prayer earlier, we have 2 new employees, or 2 new children of employees who have been born in January, and I failed to mention that. Talon is Sean's son's name, right?
Yes.
Oh, is Sean there? Yeah. Come in, Sean, and recognize it. And so he's a proud dad. So you want to come up and say his whole name this way. Come on in.
It's Talon Smith Royal. He was born on the 24th. He's been keeping me on. And then Kelsey, one of my coworkers, she she also had a daughter. She beat me by just a few hours. She was born, Haley Faith Watts. She was born on the 23rd. So like I said, she beat me just, we were hoping for the same birthdays, but it was close. Yeah.
Thank you, Sean,
Want to hear if
congratulations.
something happens 20 years from now.
It goes fast, Sean. It goes fast, let me tell you.
Except the sleepless nights.
Mayor, that's all I have. I don't have anything additional.
Okay, we're going to do council comments, starting from the left.
Actually, I've got nothing today.
Okay. Widener?
A couple things. The recycling center is looking nicer. Guys have set a standard, so it looks 100% better. And there's been a lot of positive comments. So thank you for what you guys have done. And the other thing, and I accept responsibility for this, is that, and I don't know how it happened, I think it was when I was new on council. You know, I've made some comments about us spending the $60,000 on having the LZ, the landing zone, engineered, and I think that's a waste of taxpayers' money. I've spoken to an engineer that confirmed, I mean, I don't know anything about it, so I go to the experts and talk to them. I understand why we did it, but I think that project didn't constitute spending $60,000. And also I spoke to the contractor concerning this, and he said that what has been engineered will not work. So I think that we need to, I'll leave it at that. So I think we need to make sure that everything is done properly and there's no delays on it. It's been a, I think for maybe 2 or 3 councils, it's been a primary item, and we need to get it done.
Have we selected the contractor?
No, we have not selected a contractor.
What
That was
contractor are
just
you
a private
referring
opinion.
I'm not going to say, but I just spoken to.
It may be a potential bidders, I'm assuming, but no, I think the bid date
I've
is
spoken to a contractor.
tomorrow.
I didn't say anyone that bid on it. I've just spoken to a contractor, and I've spoken to a engineer. And they said what has been proposed will not work.
But we open bids tomorrow on that, so we should have something to present to council next meeting.
And, I mean, this here is petty. I just noticed that there's more graphs on here. Like I said, it's kind of petty, but I think it's redundant. Like here on the fire department, we've got the total number of calls, and then there's a separate page here that's got the same information, and there's a third page. Is there any, I mean, it's like that with everything. Some of these graphs I think are beneficial. The condensed calls over here, you can't read this, and this here from the police department is.
I think it's just another way to view it. Some people like to see it in graphs, and because you get a better picture of how much room, you know, out of a pie chart, you know, what's taking up the most room in a pie chart as opposed to looking at the numbers. I think it's just a different way to look at stuff, which is always good. It's a visual thing more than looking at the numbers.
Could you tell me what, because I didn't hear, what were you talking about? The 60,000, what was it in reference to?
That was in reference to the cost for an engineer for the landing zone down at Buckeye.
Helicopter?
Right.
Yes, sir.
And it's not for the landing zone itself, it's for the roadway to get.
I believe that I had to check on that. I think the engineering was only 17,000 on that. I have to go back. I think the estimated cost of construction was around 40.
So a total of maybe 60.
Yes, the engineering was not 60,000. The engineering started out on the public works building, only $78,000 for a whole public works building. So.
Right. And the reason is because to take a fire truck or an ambulance across what it is now down by the rec center, it gets real mucky during the rain, and a vehicle could get stuck in there
They
at the
have
risk
got
of,
stuck.
right, at the risk of somebody's life trying to get to the
I
helicopter.
just couldn't hear what he was saying.
So, I mean, this is the first I've heard of it, because I've mentioned this 2 or 3 times, and I haven't been corrected up till today. So the engineering cost is 17,000, not 60?
No, it's not 60,000. I have to go back. I think it's like 17.9 or 17.5 if I have to go back and get the exact numbers. But no, it was not 60,000.
For the whole project is 40.
If you add the engineering to the estimated construction cost, then it's probably going to be about 57.
I mean, you just don't want to mess with something like that. Anything else, Wyden?
No.
Barry?
No, just, Robert, the center looks great. And I think you guys are doing a great job. You can't move around much, but at least you get the garbage out of there. I have nothing.
Carl?
First, thank you everyone for coming and participating. We're here to serve you. I'd like to reiterate on the golf cart committee, let's hear from folks. Or let's not hear from, if you don't let your views be known, don't want to hear about it after the fact. You know, let us know up front.
It's like voting.
Been told that I've been a little preachy when I lament the loss of the communal spirit of our town. Some would say preachy. And I apologize if I've offended anyone, but if anyone wishes to discuss that with me, I will do so ad infinitum with you. I'm going to allow that to tie back to Fred and Marge. You know, when I think about the community growing up here, when Fred and Marge would have me over to spend the night with Jimmy, they'd not only get me, they'd get Richard, Bill Snipes, Steve Wilson, John Wallace. And it was the same way at all of our homes. Fred, thank you for the trees. Thank you for everything you've done for the town. That's it for me.
You can continue to get preachy.
I would like to say that I worked part-time for Fred for 13 and a half years for Fred and Margie. And Fred ran the store and Margie ran Fred. And it was always a pleasure. And when we first moved up here and I first went to Fred's, I knew I was going to be retiring from my job in Florida. And I said to my husband, I'm going to work at Fred's. Now, I never worked in retail before. I didn't know what the heck I was thinking at the time. But, and sure enough, I remember going, I telling Margie that in one of our visits before we came up full time. And I came up another time and I distinctly remember talking to Margie about how great the store is. And she says, you're going to work for us one day. And I'm like, yeah, I am. And I did. And it was 13 and a half years of fun. But the most important thing is it let me know the type of people that Fred and Margie are. And they will give you the shirt off their backs for people who are in need. And no matter whether it was a good experience or a bad experience, they would continue to do it. And that really tells you about people's characters and how good they are. And of course, everybody loves Fred's anyway, so that's that. And then the next thing is because we're going to be meeting after this, Ray Russell, our newest House representative for the state of North Carolina, will be visiting Fred's on March 2nd. It's a Saturday for a breakfast to be able to talk to folks and get to meet Beach Mountain people. And so keep an eye on your calendars. I had 10:30 down, but I'm thinking it was 8:30. That's what I thought. It'll start at 8:30, and you should come and talk to him. And he's got some great ideas of what he wants to do with Beach Mountain, and it's just a good way to meet the people that he represents, and for us to meet the guy who's going to be talking